cobbling together technology.
Would you be more comfortable on us?
I'm fine. I've been back there. So.
Yeah.
Well, good afternoon. This is an experiment. This is the meeting, the monthly meeting of the ICA, July 28th, 2021.
Dan, ask Dan if he can hear you.
Dan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. Is there anyone else on? All right. So we are being recorded. We are without controls for the actual Zoom. So Zoom is in charge right now. If it goes wonky, it's not us. I know Jeffrey's tried everything to make sure that this goes, and I apologize for that to you. And so this is the first in-person meeting since February 2020, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. And it's actually the first meeting that we get to meet Carla, Anna Marie, and Mark in person. So it is definitely sort of a new age all the way around. And it is hybrid today. And we are doing that to accommodate. It's really weird. We're doing that to accommodate our board members who are not here. Dan is on, and Ralph will not be attending. In the future, there will be no Zoom unless it is needed by one of the board members. So I just wanted to clarify that. Again, I said that it was being recorded. Anna Marie and I are in charge. As far as techie, you should see the whole configuration of the camera. It's duct tape. I should have brought my duct tape and zip ties because that would.
We were joking about that yesterday.
Were you?
Well, you and I, Gorilla Glue, duct tape.
Oh, right. Yes, we were.
Just in case.
And the only other person that may log in is Andrew Sheaf. I believe it's Sheaf from DCED. And so the first, and I apologize for not having agendas for our guests. If it's not on the list, it didn't get done. But I will make sure to appropriately say when agenda items change. And so under approval of minutes, I had said that they would be delayed until the next meeting, and I apologize because I said May 26th, when in fact it should have read the June 23rd and the continued July 8th, 2020 meeting. So that's what we will approve at the next meeting. And then before I get, the other typo that I had was that the next meeting, I had it as October 25th, when in fact it is August 25th. So sorry about that. In the first order of business is authority business, and as you can see, Jeffrey's not here today. And so I will quickly present, as he normally does, the expenditures during the month of July, and they include two bills to DigitalOcean for about $16, Startup Harrisburg 95, and then Johnson and Duffy 332, another law firm 2,000, and Mesh for 4,200. So that the starting balance was 98,240, and the ending balance was 91,554. So that just brings us up to
Audrey, Dan's saying that the audio is going in and out. He can't hear. He's just checked out. Maybe he's trying to log back in.
Okay.
Would be my guess.
Can you hit the center button?
You want me to turn it up?
What's that? See if that does that help, Dan?
Is that any better, Dan?
Yes, I can hear you a lot better now.
We think we turned up the volume. I'm not sure. We hit a button.
At least we hear you, which is good. And then the next item is actually presentation of the fiscal year 2022 ICA budget that was shared with all of you yesterday by Jeff. And I didn't, and we had sent it around previously for comment. And if there are no questions, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve. That was Doug first,
Second.
second by Kathy. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the chair report. And I just have a short report today regarding the exit from Act 47. I asked Neil for an update as to where we stood. His response, and I would quote, "It's a work in progress. Had a call with other counsel on the matter today, and we will be following up in 2 weeks." That comment was dated Friday, July 23rd. As you know, we have an agreement pending that once the court renders its opinion, we will sign it with the city. And at that point, it automatically exits Act 47.
And just for purposes of the record, Madam Chairman, by Neil, you're talking about Neil Grover
Yes,
from the city.
thank you very much, Kathy. That is a good reminder. I'll use last names. And speaking of Act 47, it is bittersweet to think that our Marita Kelly retired at the end of last week. She was a guide star for me as I began this adventure, sharing every bit of knowledge she felt might make me and the ICA more successful. We will be sending Marita a letter expressing our gratitude on behalf of the IC and with some license on behalf of the citizens of Harrisburg. I know she will remain a friend to us and a promoter of Harrisburg going forward. And I'll share a copy of that so we can edit that. I'd now like to turn, the next item on the agenda is the update on the city of Harrisburg. And Dan, I'd like to turn the floor over to you for any update you may wish to share on activities, knowing that the next item on the agenda is discussion of mid-year reports that we've received from various entities.
Sure. Well, Jeffrey reached out and asked that I provide an update on a couple of issues in particular. The first one being some of the vacancies in the city that they've been dealing with, particularly in the last couple of months, but all year. There are no changes at the management level, at least, in terms of vacancies and open positions, either folks leaving or additions. There's turnover at other employee levels, operators that or that have left, staff accountants. I think that's pretty normal course of business type stuff. But the key management positions include the finance director that's been open for a while, the economic development director, the business development director, the communications director, and if I'm missing an important position, I apologize for that. So the city's still recruiting for those positions. As I've mentioned in the past, there's an understanding that with the new administration coming in, those level positions will be reviewed by both the current and the incoming administrations. But there's not much change since the last time I provided that update. Jeffrey also asked that I provide an update on the AMBAC discussions. We received the controller's spreadsheet on the forbearance liability pay down that was referenced at the last council meeting, and we have a lot of issues with it. There are numbers in the spreadsheet that are not correct, and the analysis is flawed. Our next steps are to arrange a meeting with Charlie and Bill. Mark and I sit down with them, assuming they're amenable, to talk through some of these issues. And I'd rather not speak any further on this subject until we've had the chance to have that meeting. I think that's only fair to Charlie and Bill, and that's how we want to move forward with this. So that's, those are the two issues that, Jeffrey had asked for updates on. I can't think of any other pertinent issues. I mean, the American Rescue Plan Act is obviously, something that the ICA is rightfully interested in hearing about. There's not much of an update on that front either. Frankly, there's not been a lot of communications between the existing and the administration, and that's really the key to unlocking progress on that front. So now that's the balance of my update, Audrey.
Thank you, Dan. I have no doubt that Charlie and Bill and Michael will be happy to sit down with you and help explain how they got the numbers that they shared. So we'll look forward to your report once you have a chance to reconcile with them. Are there any other questions for Dan?
Madam Chairman, does Dan know anything about the setting up of the OPEB trust?
Well, and thank you, Kathy. I know that that's something that you've asked about in the past too. The next hurdle there, the trust has been authorized by council. Obviously, that happened back in March, but now a board of trustees has to be appointed. The unions get 3 appointments, one each. There are 2 from the administration, 2 from council, 2 from Act 47, and once Act 47 is out of the picture, I can't remember off the top of my head who gets those appointments, but I think it's administration. But in order to move forward and the next step with that, those appointments need to be made so they can start agreeing on the rules of the road for that trust. So I can't tell you when exactly those designations will be made, but that's kind of the next step in the process.
Thank you, Dan.
But do you see any hurdle to getting those appointed with this administration rather than waiting for the next administration?
I haven't talked with folks in the administration extensively about it. I don't, there's no purposeful or delays or anything. I just can't give a good update on that.
We would be willing to help in any way because that is one of the things that is a priority for exiting Act 47. So I'm not sure how quickly you see Act 47 coming together based on what I just read you from Neil Grover. My other question was, is the audit for 2020 underway at this point?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's underway. The last update I had on that was that they were on track to have that finished by the end of September, and there's, that's what they're targeting still. I hate. They're targeting that too. I mean, I think that there's some heartburn that goes up, when people talk about deadlines, and I don't mean that disparagingly at all, because the folks working on the audit are working really hard and they're doing a good job, but they're still on track for the end of September.
Great, because I think last 2 years ago, that would mean that we'd have the audit presentation sometime early November. Does that seem like the right time? I think that's where it was. This year it was obviously March, I think, of the following year. So we'll just look out for that. And if you can keep us posted, that would be great. The only other thing I had, Dan, was the software. I know that had been budgeted and presentations have been made. Is that moving forward? Because that's really essential and a building block for anyone coming in.
Yes, it is moving forward. They expect the contractor to be engaged later this summer, early fall, beginning with the software implementation. There's a business process redesign element to that. I don't know if I want to call it redesign, but every time you improve your software or change your software, there's some business process re-engineering that needs to go along with it. And Mark indicated to me that's going to be about a 2-year-long process from beginning to end. So it's going to be a longer haul, but it's expected to start within the next few months.
Thank you. Any other questions for Dan? I had put on the agenda discussion of the second quarter reports that we've received across the last, I guess that'd be 4 weeks or so, because we never have a chance to sort of ask each other questions or share observations on them. And so I'd like to open it up to the board members. And the reports that I referenced were the DCED report by the city of Harrisburg, the controller's report that comes monthly, Marita's second quarter report as the coordinator. And then we did get the most recent check run of from Ryan that we get, I believe, bi-monthly, sorry. Were there any questions or observations that struck anyone as they looked at them? Wow. Well, the only thing, I mean, from my perspective, things seem to look good. We've got revenue coming in ahead of 2020, sometimes almost at the level of 2019. So I think we're doing well. We've, according to my calculations, received 43% of revenue and only spent 36%. That's been a trend with the city, and that's, I think, in large part how we've been able to grow the general fund balance so quickly. And we did see that, I think the most recent balance is about $41 million. And I know Dan would immediately caution me about that big debt payment that comes due in September. I can't see you, Dan, but you're probably nodding.
He's not smiling.
He's not smiling. Come on. And I think by comparison, the Neighborhood Services Fund looks good as well. I do appreciate and think that the new DCED report is a good summary that we get as far as what the status of the city is, and a report on some of their progress towards different measurements. And I know that we have requested in the agreement that these reports continue even after we exit, even after the city exits Act 47. I guess on the, there isn't anything measurably different, I don't think, in Marita's report, aside from bringing everyone up to date on the fact that we're on the precipice of signing the agreement, that they're there, and that the courts are being approached to render some opinions. Okay. Is there any other business? No. Are there public comments? I will turn it back.
There are. You don't have to turn around. I'm usually pretty articulate and very voluble. And
Is that valuable or
No.
valuable?
I think I'm valuable.
Oh, Anna Marie.
I think a lot of people would take issue with that. So, you know, I guess I've been following these meetings for a while. I don't know what the lifespan is, how long this entity is going to be in place, but I think it's a really useful function. And a couple of things I noticed on your July 12th media release captured the concerns I still have, actually, the lack of some accounting protocols that have been absent from the city over the years. I mean, kind of thought at this point they would know what GASB is, and would try to adhere to some of those standards. But I want to applaud the authority for trying to work with the city, and I know the city sometimes finds it difficult to have the oversight. My biggest concern right now is there seems to be a sense of personnel positions not being filled. It's July. This began after the primary. Just my observation, that is a long time to have some of your top positions vacant. I'm now seeing June, July, August. I got to be honest, that really concerns me. It's hard enough for a new administration to come in, assuming I think we know who the administration is. But it looks to me that some of the heavy lifting is being delayed. I, for one, don't think that's responsible. So I don't know what this entity can do. I thought you guys did a really good job. I don't know if it was Ralph or Jeff, because there were some bumpy waters here. They seem to be smoothed over, but it seems to be somewhat directionless as a person looking in. Those positions that were mentioned, I think, 4 are really important. So to use a metaphor, it'd be difficult for me to field a winning football team without a quarterback, center, and 2 tackles. Perhaps they can do it. I don't know. So I was just curious on the Act 47 timeline. I was really glad that, I don't know if it was Audrey, whoever raised the issue with the OPEB fund. It seems the neighborhood fund has been an issue since the beginning, hasn't been reconciled. And I just want to raise 2 issues that I've been tracking since the 80s. And an issue that was raised by the city. I don't think the Harrisburg generating facility has been closed out. It seemed to me to be the desire of the current administration to maintain options in terms of pursuing legacy justice. I could be wrong there. I know that I started litigating a case in the 80s. So I don't know if the city can respond to that or the ICA. The other issue is some of the water quality in the city is dreadful. I do a lot of water quality litigation. It's absolutely dreadful. I don't know whose domain that is, but there's a lot of municipalities around here, Paxton, Progress, Susquehanna, that have to work with the city on this issue. So you guys seem to be the magnet for cooperation. I don't know before you can leave if somebody could raise that flag, but if you're in Middletown, or also some of you may know, deal up nuclear power plants, it's downstream. You know, this is a problem. Actually, right now we're suing 3 Mile Island because they will not surrender the water rights. And there, I could see a collaborative effort here where there may be a regional water cooperation. At any rate, this is the first time I raised it. Audrey, thanks for pulling this stuff together. Jeff, by the way, is a great contact person. He's always very responsive, gets you stuff really quickly, which is not necessarily the touchstone for other municipalities, who, by the way, do not think I bring a lot of substance to it, more volume to the arrangement, which is okay. But the issues, Audrey, that you guys raised, I think are pretty important if they approve the plan. And so I don't know what happens to you, but hopefully somebody will continue to track that. And you all have done a really good job. It's a challenging position to be in. So just wanted to come down to the city to say that I just came from the prison board. This was a little more uplifting.
Eric, if I could respond, I can guarantee you that we will not have this meeting posted as rapidly as Jeffrey.
Yes, right.
There will be a delay. Just figure, we are not obfuscating. We are just inept at the technology part of it.
But Jeff, he's a professional. I mean, he does this. I've worked with him when he was in Middletown. He's very good at it.
He's very good.
I'm just telling you, I think he's the gold standard. Not a lot of other people in that position are that responsive and have to deal with me, and I'm a human irritable bowel syndrome. So I mean, he handles it pretty well. Please don't quote me on that, Lawrence. Yeah. I get tired. So thanks, and hopefully we'll see you guys in August. But there are, to sum it up, some meaty issues out there that don't seem to be going anywhere. That does concern.
First of all, I thank you for the compliment. I don't know that I've ever seen that, but it was great. It was over my back.
Well,
No, just
you know, I'll be in contact more often now that you've solicited friendship.
so good. And we will be around as long as we can be around,
Okay.
because we do take our role seriously and we'll follow up as we can.
Madam Chairman, may I respond to just a couple things?
Sure.
One, the appointments were 5-year appointments. Okay, I know I was appointed, I think it's 3 years ago in November. So I presume people were at least expecting us to fill out those 5 years from the initial appointment period. What goes on beyond then is, obviously outside of our control. The other item that I would hope we can all take into account is, as I understand it, and my understanding is limited, the whole area of water is in a separate authority. It's outside of the city jurisdiction at this point. And that would fall, I believe, within Capital Region water. That has become a problem, particularly recently, with all of the additional rain that we've had, because it's a combined system, which is combined water overflow and sewage. And that's something that I'm hoping someone will address in terms of extra monies that are available right now, if that money can be used for infrastructure. You know, whether it be capital city water or anyone else, if that money can somehow be used for that, I think that's something the city really has to look at.
I guess I work a lot in land use, and here's the issue. I don't know if it's Capitol River, water or you, but there's X amount of EDUs, X amount of capacity. The capacity here is not great. My consumption is something like still probably asbestos concrete. So A, yeah, we need to have the infrastructure, but B, if we're gonna have growth. And I was looking at some of the land use plans and expanded capacity. We don't have it. So I don't have an answer of how to address it. It's just a concern. The other thing I would point out, when you look at development plans, like Ralph's plan out in Susquehanna or a plan in Lower Baxton, we need to coordinate with the city, you know, in terms of our capacity, and we don't want to overburden you with sewage. So we're all kind of interconnected. Maybe it's a business of the cog. I don't know. Maybe it's not your domain, but I did want to raise the issue.
Well, and if you have any suggestions or can deal with Capital Region Water directly after the presentation that they made to us, I think that would be great on some
Are
of these
they
issues.
coming back? I was here when they were here before. They walked out before the public could address them.
They were here before. I don't know if we have plans to have them back or not. I think it would be
I
a
think
nice
we
idea
can.
to have them.
No, it's
No,
invited.
I was here, but they walked out before the public could address them. So I'll be here again.
And that may have been my fault because they were at the beginning of the agenda and there was significant parts, so they will flip it next time. So that they're toward the end and there is.
They may fall into the more valuable and valuable, you know, lane when they describe me, so I understand.
And these are all good points, and we continue to try and work with the current administration as well as beginning a relation with the presumptive next mayor, so that it's important for us to continue to hear what the issues are in addition to those that we've already identified. So thank you, Eric. Any other public comment? All right, well, since there are none, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn. So there you go. And then I believe we don't need anything else. We're excited and ready to go. So it's really good seeing everyone. Yes. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Dan.
It is.